not even mean Bowers Game Corner.
Ahoy there, YouTube! We're back again today for something very, very different. I'm going to be doing a Bowers Game Corner shelfie. It's all the rage. Everybody's like, let's see your shelves. So we're going to go bit by bit. I'm going to show you everything. But first, this is kind of going to be a guided tour of Bowers Game Corner. So in order to get here, you got to go down to the basement because everything's in the basement. And then when you walk in, if you've never been to my basement before, it's kind of a sight to behold. It's a little bit overwhelming. So it's just literally from wall to wall to wall, just games everywhere. Just an absolutely ridiculous, insane amount of games. My local library has a pretty robust rental section, and I still have more. So I'm not going to go through too many of the games, but they go from the ceiling. And then this was originally the shelf. So when I first got down here, this was what I had. And this thing used to be pretty barren. It used to be like I could fill this one, and then I could start to fill this one. And then it slowly just grew and grew and grew, because as a reviewer, you get a lot of games. The next shelf that I moved on to was this little one right down here, which I got from my son Sean, specifically to put his games in there. And as you can see, just a giant wall of yellow. I praise Haba to the moon sometimes on this channel, but that's because they're spectacular. Moving over here, one shelf was not enough for all the family games, so this is the family game shelf, which literally, this is my hand. This is the full extent of my hand, and the games go higher than that. I might have a problem down here. We have more games. Just tons and tons of games. I think I got all those games on Amazon for like $4 or $5 a pop. Over here we have a bunch of like micro games and smaller games in this box. Oops, sorry. Let me get the selfie shot right. Not used to do these selfie angles. All right, moving onward. This is the heavy hitter shelf. This is where a lot of people normally, when they come for game night or they come over to play games, they really look over here and they try and pick stuff. And a lot of the times the games that we pick will come from over here. We have this little shelf of doom right here. And actually a funny story about this shelf right here, this metal shelf. So my local automotive place was getting rid of all these shelves. And it was like 20 or 25 bucks for this 7-foot tall shelf, metal shelf. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. But the thing is, we only have a really small minifan. And so the thing was like halfway hanging out as I drove it home. But I took that thing and I put it down here all by myself. It was probably about 50 to 100 pound shelf. But I was just like, I want to get this shelf. And I love this shelf. Absolutely. If your automotive places ever get rid of these are fantastic for storing games. So next, we have a not so nice shelf over here, and you get really, I don't know if you can really see, but it's actually leaning. Oh, yeah, it's so this shelf is leaning against the cement wall back there because the shelf was about to break, and so someone, I think they were going to throw it out, and I was like, hey, I'll take that. And also, the only way that I could actually make the shelf work, and this is super ghetto, by the way, you're going to find out Bowers Game Corner is way more ghetto than you thought it was, and that's saying something. But if you look at the very top of the shelf, it's actually the bottom of the shelf. I had to flip the shelf upside down and lean the shelf against the wall just in order to make the shelf work. But I needed room for my games. You know how that is, right? Right? Yeah, I know, I'm crazy. Same thing with this shelf. This shelf also right here, once again, if it was not, see, look at this. If it was not leaning against this other massive shelf right here, it would fall right over and collapse. So, and actually, is this shelf upside down too? Did I do it twice? Oh my gosh, no I didn't. No, I didn't. That one's right side up. So, I got all these shelves, and you're like, that's surely enough space. And I was like, no, I need more space. So then my good friend Adam, who actually does some of the Origins coverage with me, and he might be going to Gen Con this year, helped me make this shelf right here. And this shelf is absolutely a behemoth, and it just makes my channel look so much better having a shelf like this. Like, this is an impressive looking shelf. Now, if I ever actually, like, ordered it to look professional, it would look even better, but I like to show off my kids' artworks. I'm very proud of their artwork, and they see that. Like, they know that this is where I shoot, because they help me shoot videos sometimes, and so they're very proud that they both have a picture up here. Up here, I have the sound bar, and it hooks up directly to my iPad, so I like to play music on game night. And yeah, let's get to the table. So right now the table is a bit of a mess, just because I'm in the process of really cleaning the corner. But this is the last box right here. So there was just so much clutter in this place. Like, there was like 12 boxes, and I've gone through 11 of them. That's the last one. I'm getting ready to shoot a games in, games out segment right here. I got some of the new stuff for the iPad I'm getting, which is going to improve the video quality. But yeah, I try and make it so that everybody gets a rolly chair. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rolly chairs, because those are just the best. Those are comfortable. You're going to be down here for a couple hours. Why not sit on a nice chair? Over here we got the work area, which I'm really trying to focus on just the work area. And actually, I've started to keep track of some statistics right there, trying to get more active on the social media and whatnot. And then last but not least, actually that's a lie. There's still like 5 more things. We have this huge game area over here, which literally there is a window back there. So the games in my game room quite literally blot out the sun. And that right there is just a stool that I stack games on. And that right there is just a chair that I stack games on. I'm a big fan of using chairs as like things to stack stuff on, if you couldn't tell. And that's because when I first started getting into game night, I was just like, all right, I got to get as many chairs as I can. And so I just started hoarding chairs, but then I really realized that people don't like to sit on those kind of chairs for a couple hours, so that's when I moved on to the rolly chairs. So last but not even close to last but not least, we got this over here, which is just a bunch of games, more mass market games. These are the kind of games that once I finally get a video up on those games, like going over the gameplay or the review or something like that, that I'll get rid of. But I don't want to get rid of anything until I've reviewed it. Like, that's my goal, is to review everything, even though that's literally impossible. I do want to mention this shelf right up here. This is a shelf I'm particularly proud of. It's got a lot of games that just mean various different sentimental things to me. This was my first review ever, Bacchus. This, Do Your Job, was actually the first Kickstarter preview I did, and that was a local guy, and he was just like, hey, would you do that? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And that kind of, you know, doing those Kickstarter videos really helped me grow. That's a trophy I won in a Mage Wars tournament. That's my game that I designed. Hey, it's got my name on it, hooray! We got the Mr. Meeseeks box over there, which actually was one of my most popular videos ever, and I do believe that when it's all said and done, that will be my most popular video ever. And then Columbia up there is actually the first game I ever got sent to me by anybody. And it was a Game Crafter game, and he was like, hey, I see you're doing your YouTube channel, would you like to check out my game? And I was like, absolutely, thank you so much. In case you're interested, yep, that's what I normally record on. I got a tripod here, got it at Goodwill. We live paycheck to paycheck sometimes. We got this one right here. This is this I got off Amazon, and it's really great. There's also another one. My wife disassembled it because she does photography. Quick cut, totally forgot to mention about the lighting situation here. So here at Bowers Game Corner, we got these uncovered lights up here. The reason why they're uncovered is because we have a lot of electrical issues, and I have to replace these way too routinely, and I honestly don't even know where they are anymore. So that's what the lighting used to be. But then I really started this hobby of acquiring broken lamps. So what'll happen is people will throw away a perfectly good lamp just because one part of it is broken. And I'm like, well, why don't I take that lamp? And I've probably gone through about 6 of these lamps over the last 7 or 8 years since I started doing this. This is a good one here. It's got the little, I really like this one. I felt like a real professional when I got this one because I could bend the arms. Yeah. And then you want to talk about the coup de grace. What happened was I decided I really want to bump up my quality, so I got this bad boy right here, which, yes, if you couldn't tell, once again, was a broken lamp. And I had to slam this part with a sledgehammer. It wasn't a sledgehammer, it was a mallet and an axe. I was smashing it with like a mini axe. I think it was a hatchet. Yeah, I don't remember. It was years and years ago, but I was sitting down here and I was just banging away at this thing because it had like this huge metal part because obviously it's very tall. And this has done a good job, but then I finally started to take things really serious, and I got the LED lights on the ceilings. And I gotta say, I really love these things. They're really nice, and it's all ran right down here. One flick of the switch, and bada boom, they all go off. But that's how the lighting works here at Bowers Game Corner. But now let's go into an area which might be a little bit louder, and that is my oh-so-totally not clean at all laundry room, because there's more games here. So first we got some big boxes up here. Battle Rally, Domino Rally, that's the one that's not actually a game, but that one. Kick It, which is this really crummy soccer game I picked up in Essen, and the nets are up there because there's no good way to store that. And then I can't really get to it, but this is like a really weird area, which for some reason I store games in it, and I don't actually remember why I started storing games in there. Like, they're games I don't want. I don't know. But, last but not least, and this time it legitimately is last but not least, and now you can see the chair problem that I have here too. Like chairs. Like I used to just go buck wild, like all the time. If I could get chairs, free chairs, let's get chairs. But this is the place where games go to die, at least in my mindset. So this is where the games go when they have left my collection. So I do the games in, games out segment. This is where they go when they go out. Unfortunately, there's no good way for me to get rid of these games, which is actually why I'm just going to start giving them away as part of my Patreon, because there's lots of great games in here. They're just not particularly for me. So I'll just kind of, I know people are really interested in this, but maybe I should just go through this pile. Let me know in the comments below if you're still here. Would you like me to actually go through this pile just so you can see the collective games out pile? I don't know. It'd be the kind of thing you put on in the background. But let's give you a look see if you can see. Some good stuff in there. We got the Batman. Yeah, Batman Gotham City Chronicles in the back. I don't even know what's back here. I'm just hoping that there's enough light that you can see it. But one of my other favorite parts of Bowers Game Corner that no one knows about except for me, and now you. Like, literally, I've never shown this to anybody, I don't think, is this right here. And this is my wall of expansion boxes. Because I'm a hoarder, obviously. And I have expansion boxes. And what I started to do is this whole side right here is nothing but expansion boxes. All these are filled with expansion boxes. And so now, I want you to show you, the expansion boxes literally are taller than me. And I don't know what to do with them. I want to keep them. A buddy of mine actually used to make them into an art project, which is really cool. And he used to put them all around his house, which I used to love. But there's no way my wife would be up for that. And rightfully so. I mean, if you're not a diehard board gamer, why would you possibly want all that? But anywho, that is my shelfie. That was a guided tour of Bowers Game Corner. I'm sure there's some games tucked here or there that I might have forgot to show you. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube. Oh, and let me know in the comments down below. Does anything I do resonate with you? Like, because I have a hard time knowing what I'm doing, what part of what I'm doing is normal, and what part am I doing that is atypical. So let me know in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.